Great. Okay. Okay. Equipment you're going to need today is the same. Two pencils and or two cooking utensils. You could use your thumbs if that's easier for you. Just something easy for you to hold, and then your letter ball of some sort. Mine is very deflated at the moment. I was playing catch with one of my clients earlier. Uh, yes, remember for the letter ball, it could be a ball-shaped object of some sort, a pair of socks, anything you've got, but just something preferably interesting for your eyes to look at. So with a pattern or with letters and numbers on it. And then as always with this class, because we work with the visual, just be mindful to move at your own pace, listen to your body, especially when we get into some of that vestibular work. Know that if you start to feel dizzy, nauseous, tired eyes, itchy eyes, just tired overall, all of that is normal and it means that you've met your edge, and we just don't want to go too far past that edge. So if you experience any of those, take a break, close your eyes, you can have some water, and just allow the body to reset. Gonna slip my warm socks off here and we'll get going. Okay. All right, so I'll have you come back to a seated or standing grounding position. And then let's just start by closing the eyes. Just allow your body to be heavy. Allow it to be heavy either down through your feet or down through your sit bones or through your back if you're leaning against a chair. Connection with whatever surface it is that you're connected to. And then starting to cue into your breath a little bit more. And with each inhale, seeing if you can grow a little taller up towards the sky. Getting a little taller through that vertical axis, reaching the crown of the head up, up, up. Almost imagining like your spine is trying to take up as much space in the room as you can. Your head and your neck are taking up a good amount of space. Just feeling some of that expansion in that vertical axis. Go ahead and set your intention for class today. It can be as specific or as general as you'd like. And then we're just going to find a body scan working from the center of the body to the most distal parts of the body. So feeling your breath, maybe you can even sense your rib cage moving in and out with that breath. Can you sense how your back is feeling today? How your chest is feeling? Are there any sticky areas? Any tender, sensitive areas? And then how do your hips, your glutes, your thighs feel? Your shoulders, neck, and upper arms. And then how do the most distal parts of you feel? You can wiggle your toes, you can wiggle your fingers, you can wiggle your wrists, maybe even your ankles if you're able to. Just connecting to those parts that are farther away from the center of your body. We'll take one more inhale, one more exhale, and we'll open the eyes. Awesome. Okay. We're going to start, we're going to give the knees a hug. So just bending forward, whether you're seated or standing, giving the knees a hug and a squeeze. And then I want you to get big and take up space in the room, spreading from the fingers. And if you're standing, you can even come into a wide stance with your feet and your arms. Yeah. And then getting small, hugging the knees, coming down into a squat. And then getting big, take up space. And I want you to take up space with your face too. So I want you to open your jaw Maybe make a sound. You can stick out your tongue. Ah. And then when you get small, I want you to make those fishy lips that we've been working on. So squeezing your cheeks inward. And then getting big, let your face get big. Ah, make a sound, stick the tongue out, and maybe at a different direction off to your right or left. And then get small. Fishy lips, sucking everything inward. And then get big, stick your tongue out in a different direction. And getting small. Fish lips. And then get big, stick your tongue out yet again, different direction. Yeah, nice. Get small, fish lips. And then get big, different direction with the tongue. Let's do one more. Get small, fish lips. And then sticking the tongue out, making one last big sound. And maybe a little louder. Ah. Okay, good. And then go ahead and shake everything off. All right, we'll bring hands to that area just under the collarbones, finding our tapping there using fingertips or knuckles. And just finding your breath again with this. Yep. And then using more of the pads of your fingers, I want you to give that same area a rub. And you're going to work that rub from the center of your sternum, center of your chest, out to the corners of your shoulders. Centers to the corners. So kind of tracing almost the bottom outline of your collarbone. And if it's easier for you to reach these areas, crossing your arms over your chest, you can do that too. Yeah. This is an easy place to store a lot of tension. Okay, good. And then I want you to cross the arms over the chest. If you're able to interlace your thumbs here, yeah, we're just finding, again, kind of a cross connection, connecting the two sides of the body, but we're doing it in a crisscross linking pattern. It just helps connect the brain a little bit more. And then if you can, I want you to take your middle fingers, and middle fingers will hopefully land kind of right in front of the armpit crease. And I just want you to give that a little bit of a rub. And as you're doing that, testing your coordination here, we're just going to do a few neck circles. Really slow. Be gentle not to throw the head back in any direction here. And then we'll switch directions with the head. Nice and easy. Yeah, good. We're going to leave the arms crossed, and we're going to bring hands or knuckles, if you can, to the tops of the shoulders. If that, oops, sorry, I keep hitting my microphone. If that's not there for you, hands or knuckles can just stay crossed in front of the chest. Yeah, and you're just going to hold that there. Come back to a seated position. And you're going to start by turning just your eyes to the left. And then head and neck is going to follow, but my eyes are leading the whole time. And then my torso is going to follow until I'm fully rotated to the left and my eyes are really straining to see what's behind me. Okay, hold that there for just a second. Now move your eyes to the right. Let the eyes lead the head and then lead the torso and rotating to your right until you're all the way rotated to the right. What's the furthest thing behind you you can see? Strain those eyes. And then again, eyes move left, then head moves left, then torso and ribs move left. Okay, so it takes a little bit of coordination for the body to do that sequentially. So just take the time you need to find that. Holding for a few seconds in that full rotation, and then switching sides. Eyes, head, neck, torso, and hold. Eyes, head, neck, torso, and hold. Yeah, and just move through these at your own pace. Maybe do 2 or 3 more each side. Eyes, head, neck, torso. And then actually, sorry, I wanna layer one more thing in. I wanna layer your tongue in. So whichever side you're rotating to, push your tongue into the side of your mouth. So if you're rotating left, push your tongue into the left side of your cheek, and then vice versa for the other side. Tongue can move when the eyes start to move. So as the eyes start to move one way, allow your tongue to follow, head, neck, and then torso. Eyes, tongue, head, neck, torso. Can we start to do it a little bit quicker? Rotating left, and if you start to get dizzy, take a break, and then rotating right. Let's do one more each way, and then the other way. Okay, good. Come back to the center. Yeah, I know that's a lot for the eyes. We're really pushing the range of motion there. So give everything a shake. You can close your eyes if you need to just take a little bit of a break there. Let's actually give the eyes a bit longer break. So take your hands like away from you, looking up at the hands, and then you're going to dive forward and hands are going to dive behind you. If you're able to interlace the fingers here, you can interlace the fingers. Good. Sitting tall, push the sky away from you, look up, and then lean forward, reach the arms behind you or interlace the hands. Oh, that's feeling tight today. Push the ceiling away from you, shrugging everything up at the end, and then dive forward. 2 more. Pushing away, shrugging up, and then dive. And last one, pushing away, and then dive. Okay, good. And coming back to the center. Okay, we're gonna do a similar thing we did with the eyes going left, right, but now we're gonna go up, down. Okay, so looking forward, so start with your eyes. Eyes are gonna look up, and then head looks up, and then pull, almost as if you're pulling your heart forward. So let that chest open up. I don't want you to throw the head back here. I want you to still be in control of your head, but your eyes are really pushing that eye range of motion. And then eyes look down, and then head looks down, and then spine follows and getting small. I'm not rolling all the way down to the ground. I'm just finding this extreme slump. So trying to pull my nose to my sternum. Eyes go up, head goes up, chest lifts. I can even start to open up, turning my palms up towards the sky, just to open up the shoulders and the biceps a little bit. There we go, really nice. And then eyes go down, head goes down my upper back. Eyes, head, neck, lifting the chest. Palms are facing upward. Even try to face your palms back, like you're really trying to externally rotate those shoulders open. Yeah, that's it. And then eyes come down, head comes down, shoulders roll in and round that upper back. I want this round to be active, like I am really trying to touch my nose to my belly button. You might even feel a nice stretch in through the back of the neck. I certainly do. Eyes, head, chest, look up. What's the furthest thing on the ceiling that you can see? And then moving down and inward. What's the furthest thing down on your shirt that you can see? Yeah, we'll do a few more each way. Everything lifts up. Eyes go up. Everything shifts down and inward. One more. Eyes and everything lift. eyes and everything go down. Okay, and back to the center. Awesome. All right. Let's stack the arms one on top of the other into a genie pose. If that's too hard, we can cross the arms over the chest. And I just want you to start to find this wave through the body. So left elbow lifts, and then as the left elbow lifts, the right elbow goes down. Okay, so as if there was just this big wave going through your genie arms, up on one side, and then coming through and down on that side. hmm Inhaling as you lift up, and exhaling to complete that wave. Inhaling up and exhaling down, and then can we switch sides? So now right elbow lifts and then left elbow lifts, completing that wave. Let your spine move with you. If you're standing, you could let your legs start to move with you. Just putting some side bending and flexion into the spine here. Channel your inner waves. All right, and then coming back to the center. Awesome. Okay, let's come into a little bit of body tapping here. So let's actually start, if you're able to tap the tops of your shoulders, maybe even the backs of the shoulders. I think, as I'm going to guess, as many of you know, this is an area that can definitely find its way into tightness and tension and stickiness. Yeah, if that's hard for you to do, you can just do one at a time, like you're patting yourself on the back, or you could do both at the same time. Yeah, and just noticing the pliability of that tissue up there. As you're tapping, poking, hitting, does one side feel different than the other? Is one side sensing more than the other? Okay, good. And then we'll start to work our way. We're gonna do this a little differently. We're gonna come down the inside of the arm, straight down the center, hitting the palm. And then we're gonna come up the outside of the arm. Down the inside of the arm. And then up the outside. We'll do that 3 times on each side. Remember, you can use any kind of a tapping that you want. It could be a stroking. It could be a tapping. It could be doing more of a chop motion. Sometimes it's nice to switch it up. On days where I'm tired, I notice that I don't want to do as much of the tapping, and the rub is kind of nice. Yeah, same thing, doing 3 times through on this side. Okay. And then we're gonna grab, either using knuckles or our thumbs. We're gonna put our thumbs into our back, right at the base of our rib cage. Okay. If that's hard for you to do, you can either use your knuckles in that area, or your knuckles can come to the sides of your ribs instead of the back of your ribs. Okay. So holding that area, I want you to imagine like you were pushing your back and your belly button forward. So just finding that opening of the chest. And then you're going to trace, as you trace the outline of your ribs, the bottom of your ribs, you're going to find flexion again. So then coming forward and trying to tuck your nose into your belly button again. Okay. And again, hands come to the back base of the ribs, pushing the chest forward. And then as you trace that outline, coming into flexion and dropping the chest down. Yeah, that's it. You got it. Hands to the back and open. As the hands slide forward, rounding the back. Hands to the back and open. As hands slide forward, you round. Last one. Open and then round. Yeah, this can be a really nice one. Doing that kind of release work with movement can be really nice. It just kind of trains the body what we're trying to do. It gets things moving a little bit more. Okay, coming to the lower body. Let's find that tap coming down. I think I have a rock in my pocket. Okay, I can't grab it. Tapping your legs, coming down the outsides of the legs and coming up the insides of the legs. Or going down as low as you safely can. And again, just an invitation today, if you want to use a different kind of tapping, open hand, closed hand, chopping motion. We'll do that 3 times through. Okay, and then I want you to finish at the hip area, kind of the top of the hips. This is an area for us, whether you're seated or standing right now, this is an area that can get really shortened, okay, especially for folks in wheelchairs and for people that just find themselves maybe in front of a computer all day. Okay, so using your fists or using an open hand, I just want you to put a little bit of pressure right down into the crease of your hips. Wherever your hips are creased right now, just giving that a little pressure and a little rub. And if you're standing, you can still do the same thing. If you're unsure where the crease of your hips is, just lower yourself down into a squat and find the crease of your hips, and then just give that area a bit of a rub. And again, just noticing, we're going to focus a little bit more on the joints today. That's why we're starting with this. Noticing if there's a difference between the two sides, noticing if there's tenderness there, and then starting to work your hands out to the sides of your hips. Okay, yeah, and how does that feel for you? How is this area feeling with pressure to it? Okay, good. Then we're going to come to the knees, if you're able to reach the knees. And I want you to start by just circling your hands around the knees, around the kneecap. If you don't have sensation in these areas, it's okay. Because bringing this kind of awareness and or release work to these areas, regardless of whether you have sensation or not, can be really helpful. Okay, you're either going to stay on the knees. If you can move to the ankles, move to the ankles. Just giving the ankles a little bit of rub. The outsides, the insides, the Achilles tendon. Otherwise, stay with the knees, maybe even rubbing the backs behind the knees. That can be a tender area for some people. Okay. And then we'll sit upright again. We're going to come to the elbows. So finding that circling around the elbow. And some heat and warmth to that area. And then the other elbow. Our joints are, they're not only the areas that typically get injured the most because of the vulnerability that a lot of our joints hold. But there can be a lot of energy stuck in joints too. It's believed in the Eastern medicine world that a lot of energy, sometimes even trauma, can get stuck in our joints. So it's good to bring some attention to these spots. Lastly, we'll come to the wrists. Just giving the wrists a rub. I'm taking one hand and I'm kind of circling around one of my wrists right now. You can use your knuckles if that's easier. And then we'll do the other wrists. Yeah. Okay, and then just sit with that for a second. You can even close your eyes if you want. Just bringing your attention to some of those joints that you just gave a rub down to. Noticing if anything changed for you, noticing how the body's feeling. Yeah, awesome. Okay, let's jump right into some of this. I'm gonna have you grab your letter ball. I'm gonna roll this up a little bit. If you know how to play leather ball, go ahead and just go right into playing with it. I'm gonna layer on a couple things today, but just go ahead and jump right into that. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm gonna explain this here. Okay, so holding your letter ball or your ball-shaped object of some sort, holding it into your chest, and you're going to move it away from your body at any angle you want to, at any angle you choose. You're going to then look at the ball, say the first letter or number you see. So I see the letter T, and then I'm going to pull it back into my chest. I'm going to pull the ball away from my chest at a different angle. Look at it, say the first letter or number that you see, pull it back in. And you're just going to repeat with that, pulling the ball at a different angle around your body each time you pull it away, pulling it above you, to the side of you, back behind you, quickly looking at the ball, and then saying aloud the first letter or number that you see. If you are able to, slash if you want to make it harder, you can start to play catch with yourself. So instead of moving the ball away, you can start to toss the ball around you. You can bounce it against the floor. You can throw it against a wall. But just really trying to hit all of those angles around you. The harder you make it for yourself, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's adding a spin to the rotation, whether you're moving it or throwing it, whether that means you're throwing that ball against a wall by you, because then the predictability changes and you don't know where the ball is going to end up, so it makes it a little bit harder. So there's different ways you can challenge this game with yourself to make your eyes and your reaction time, and therefore your brain, work a little bit harder, have to work a little bit quicker, react faster, move faster. Okay, so you can add in any of those challenges that you want or that you're able to. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to layer in just 1 or 2 brain speed games for you here. Every time you catch a, let's see, what do I want to do? Every time you catch a letter, let's go. I'll give you a couple options. So if you catch a letter, you're going to head tilt to your right. If you catch a number, you're going to head tilt to your left. If you're unable to head tilt, I want you to do a side bend, so more of like a spinal side bend. So letter tilting right, number tilting left. Letter right, number left. Okay, so keep playing. Whatever you catch, tilting your head or your spine to that direction. So now we're just making the brain react a little bit quicker, and you're having to correspond with the movement. So we're working on something called called brain speed, kind of self-explanatory, but that's the official term. It just has to do with brain processing and then translating that processing into movement. No different than driving. If someone cuts you off on a freeway and you have to make a quick move to correct yourself, or catching something that falls off the counter, or any one of those safety things. Okay, just okay, and then go ahead and relax. Okay, if you're able to hold that object with one hand, that ball, you're going to lower that ball to the left side of your body. Okay, if you need both hands, you can just keep both hands on it. Okay, so we're just going to start with eyes, head, and nose are going to pinpoint a letter or number on that ball. You're going to lift that ball up over, so bringing that arm out to your side, lifting it up overhead. For those of you holding it with one hand, you'll then transition to the other hand. Otherwise, you'll just keep both hands on there, and then lowering the ball down to the opposite side of the body. So you're basically drawing like a big arc or a big rainbow around you while you're looking at the same letter or number the whole time. So we're working on something called gaze stabilization, where your eyes have to stay on that letter or number as the background behind the ball is quickly moving. For those that are blind or visually impaired, you're doing the same thing. We're just going to make this a little bit more of a head and neck movement. Okay. The faster you and for your vestibular system. If you're standing, you can even do this one while you're slowly spinning in a circle, okay? If you want to make it harder. If you're already getting dizzy, I don't recommend that because that one can definitely be challenging. Yeah. Just gonna watch people here a few times. That's it, that's it. Big arc up and over, big arc up and over. Yeah, let's maybe do one more each side. Yeah, yeah, and Claudia, that looks good. Just kind of using points around the room. That's good. Yeah. Okay, and then coming back to the center. Awesome. Okay, we're still gonna hold on to that ball or whatever it is that you're holding. Again, if you'd like to do this single hand, if you're able to do it single hand, we can do single hand. Otherwise, we can keep both hands on it. And we're just gonna change that plane of movement. So holding the ball directly out in front of you, you're gonna take that ball and rotate to your left, holding it with one or both hands, keeping your eyes on that same letter or number, and just alternating back and forth, rotating to the left, eyes stay on the number, rotating to the right, eyes stay on the number. And if you're doing both hands on the ball, then that's good too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll take an eye break after this one. Yeah, yeah, good. Nice, everybody. Really make sure your eyes stay on that same letter number the whole time. Let's do one more each side. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay. Okay. And then go ahead and you could drop the ball. Okay, let's give the eyes a little bit of a break here. So I'm just going to find a slow, heavy roll down to the ground. Just let everything hang heavy at the bottom. Find your breath into the back of your ribs. See if you can even feel your breath down into your pelvis, down into your feet. And just hold this for a few breaths. Okay, and on that next exhale, slowly roll yourself back up. And coming back to the center. Great. Okay. My eyes are feeling tired. I don't know about yours. So let's do a little bit of spine work here. Hands or knuckles can come to the sides of the ribs. Yeah, I'm just gonna have you, we're just gonna come right into it today. You're just gonna start with that hula hooping the ribs around the pelvis. And if you're standing, you're doing the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Being okay, good. I'm seeing some variation here. So I want you to think of instead of your whole body leaning. So instead of right now, my spine is staying straight and I'm circling my upper body around my pelvis. Okay. Instead of doing that, I want you to think parallel with the floor the whole time. It's a smaller movement, and my ribs are moving around my pelvis instead of keeping my spine straight and flat. My spine is now moving. It's translating, it's extending forward, and it's flexing back. So, really seeing if you can do this more at the rib pelvis level. So, like if my upper hand were your ribs, that upper hand is moving around the steady pelvis. The reason that I differentiate the two, both are really good movements, but I differentiate the two because doing this gives the organs more of a massage and it moves more of your internal tissues, as opposed to keeping the spine flat and stable is good. It just does something a little different. It requires more stability as opposed to spinal mobility. Right now, we're going for spinal mobility. Yeah, and that's good. Awesome. Okay, let's take right arm up towards the sky. Left arm is going to reach down towards the ground. And then I want you to start reaching even further, so you come into a side bend to the left. And I want you to look up at your top hand, hold that side bend, and then look down at your bottom hand. Up at the top hand, down at the bottom hand, come back to the center, arms come out into a T. Yeah. Reaching up with the left arm, down with the right arm, pulling that into a side bend, and then same thing, look up at the top hand, and then look down. Look up, look down, and then everything comes back to the center. Yeah, I'm gonna move slow for this one. If you wanna move quicker, go for it. I like to do these ones slow, just so I make sure I'm creating space for my neck and my shoulders as I do this. Okay, so side bending, look up, look down, look up, look down, and then back to the center and switch. Side bend, up, down, center, and switch. Let's just do one more each side. Up, down, center, and switch. Last one. Up, down, center, and relax. Go ahead and shake everything out. Move the shoulders, shake the shoulders. Yeah, nice work. Okay. Okay, let's finish with a little bit of coordination here. So I'm just gonna have you start by, I'm gonna have you tap your knees, tap your hips right in that hip crease that we were working on earlier. And then you're gonna cross your arms over your chest and tap your shoulders. Yep, tap your knees, tap your hips, cross your arms the other direction and tap your shoulders. Knees, hips, cross tap, knees, hips, switch the cross tap. Yep, knees, hips, tap, knees, hips, tap. Okay, so just moving through that one, making sure that each time you cross the arms, you're leading with a different arm. And if you're standing, just doing the same motion, you might just be coming down into more of a squat for you to tap your knees. If that is feeling pretty easy and you feel like you can go faster, go ahead and start to try to go faster. Okay, I'm just going to let you get that into your body for another several taps. If this feels challenging enough, this is where you're going to stay. Okay, just with this cross tap right here, picking up or slowing down the speed as you need. If you want to make it harder, I'm going to layer on. I have to get this in my body first before I put words to it. Always a challenge. Okay, so you're going to hit the knees, hit the hips, cross the shoulders, and hit. When your left arm, let me just say this, whichever arm is crossed in front, that's the side that you're going to turn your head to look towards as you tap the shoulders. So tap the knees, tap the hips. If your right arm is in front, you're going to look to the right, knees, hips. When left arm is in front, look left. Messed up. Okay, so I'm just going to say that one more time. Keep going. Whichever arm in front, that's the direction you turn your head and neck and you look towards. Yeah, I'm just gonna watch people. So if your right arm is in front of your left, look right. If your left arm is in front of your right, look left. Yeah. So Kathy, switch the direction you're doing with your neck. So right now you would look to your right because your right arm is in front of your left. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it might even feel backwards to yourself because you're like, well, yeah, but my other arm is in front of my chest. But do the arm that's stacked in front. That's the shoulder that you look towards. Now everyone's like, wait, am I doing it right? Yeah, yeah, Cynthia, you got it. Yep, yep. Just watching people here. There you go, Julie. Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think everyone else. There we go. There we go. You've got it. Yeah. Good. Just maybe do 5 or so more. It's a brain game. It's a brain game. Yeah. When you've done those 5, go go ahead and relax. Sometimes the brain games are the most frustrating, huh? Okay. Let's bring arms up and over the head, grabbing the elbows, framing the head. You can always cross the arms over the chest if that's easier. I want you to shrug the shoulders up, take a breath into the base of your ribs, and take a nice roll down as close or all the way down to the floor. And really try to find the length through your spine here. So I'm pushing my elbows down towards the floor, trying to broaden my rib cage. And then on your next exhale, articulating yourself back up. Good. Again, shrug up. We're going to take a side bend to the left. So go ahead and grab that left elbow, just giving a gentle pull to open up those ribs. Take an inhale into the ribs. And then exhale, center. Side bend right. Grabbing that right elbow, inhaling into the ribs. And exhaling, center. Good. We'll release the arms down and back, opening the chest. You can interlace the fingers behind you if you'd like. And then shake the hands out. And the arms, you can shake the legs out if you're standing. Okay, let your breath go. And then we'll come back to a more still position. We'll close the eyes. And just start by finding your breath. And then feel that same connection to whatever it is that you're grounded to through your feet and the floor, through your chair, through your back. And then with each inhale, see if you can reach the crown of your head. Let your spine take up space. Let your ribs take up space. Behind you, to the side of you, in front of you. Go ahead and think of one thing you're grateful for today. We'll take one more inhale, one more exhale, and we'll open the eyes. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. Get this stuff out of the way. Happy Thursday. I'll stick around if anyone